5 years of talking is going to be celebrated today by talking to the author of Table Talk Math Next.
Have we been doing this show for 5 years, Scott?
5 years, bro.
Dude.
5 years. I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah, right. So, yes, we are excited to be celebrating our 5th year anniversary show with our buddy John Stevens. He is a math guru, math instruction guru, and we are excited to talk to him today. He is the author of Table Talk Math, and he's going to tell us all about the book and give us some ideas for how we can encourage math in the family. Is that right, John?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait to do this, and congratulations to you guys on 5 years together and a lifetime of brotherhood.
Yeah, I don't know if we need congratulations on that one.
Hey, you've made it. You've made it.
Hey, before we get into the interview, Tim, let's tell people really fast about two of our top topics of the day.
Well, probably by the time you're hearing this, Global School Play Day 2018 will have already happened, but you can still do Play Day with your kids, right, at school to teach them how to play, Scott.
Absolutely. And you will have missed out on being part of the 300,000 plus kids from 54 different nations that took a day off from like really, really important, intense things like extra worksheets and homework, standardized testing.
Hey, Scott, I got this tweet recently from someone. I'm not going to say who it's from. It's, I don't want to divulge any private information, but they tweeted at me and they said, trying to convince my principal and superintendent to allow GSPD, Global School Play Day, despite our lower test scores. What do you think of that?
John, you want to chime in on that?
Well, as an advocate for bringing more math to the table and in the forms of play and games and puzzles and activities, my jaw is, I guess, metaphorically to the floor, because the more we can get kids to play and explore and get outside and do things, I think the better it's going to be, regardless of what it shows up on a score sheet or not.
Yeah, Tim, I mean, it's pretty amazing the number of people that are jumping on board this and partnering with it and celebrating it. And it's also always a little bit shocking when you hear the very few voices that are like, we don't have time for play, something that's so vital for a healthy development of a child. It's important for us as adults to get that time. This is a chance to take one out of your 182 plus days of instruction and give it back. And the learning is tremendous on that day. Learning does not stop because play is happening. And that's the frightening thing when you hear tweets and comments like that, is the assumption is that play, like nothing can be learned through play. And I know, Tim, myself, is when I'm on that day and I'm observing kids and seeing their interactions, I'm learning a lot about those kids, how they learn, how they interact with their peers, and share all that information with their parents. It's such an awesome day.
That's right. And we're not advocating that school is a place to go and just do unstructured play 182 days of the year, but we're saying let's just take one day and show the kids, reintroduce them to the concept of unstructured play, because unfortunately, this generation of kids, they don't really know how to play a lot of times. I mean, one of my big frustrations is when I send my kids out for brain break, they're like standing around. They don't even know what to do. They've got a cart full of equipment to play with. We let them bring things to play with, and they don't even know what to do. So, school is a place for kids to learn, and maybe what a lot of our kids need to learn is how to play so that they can go home and start playing and have a balanced life.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tim, again, if when you're hearing this, everybody, just remember that Play Day doesn't have to be on the 7th of February or the first Wednesday of any February, any year. It can be any time, and it's hugely valuable and important. And research keeps coming out over and over on this, Tim. Like, I can't even tell you, there was just an article that came out in the New York Times about this, and it seems like it's happening more and more, the connection between play and the valuable, important things that are learned from children in that process.
Absolutely. So go to globalschoolplayday.com, sign up for 2019, and check out some of the pictures and the excitement on Twitter of the things that have happened on February the 7th when Global School Playday was celebrated all over the planet. And we really want everyone to join this movement and bring unstructured play back to the lives of our kids, because it's going to make it a big impact. So, John, enough of our yakking here. We want to hear you do some yakking. Tell us about your book, Table Talk Math. What's that all about?
Well, it's about play.
That's awesome.
No, it really is in many aspects. My whole goal with Table Talk Math was to give parents accessible and readily available resources that they can implement right away. The whole concept of Table Talk Math is bringing conversations to the dinner table, but we know that especially in today's landscape, the dinner table is not always the sacred and cherished thing that it used to be. A lot of times we have different activities going on, or parents working multiple jobs or odd hours. So the premise of the book really is finding those moments in our regular lives, maybe not daily, but regular lives, to bring math concepts and conversations to our kids and destigmatizing mathematics in general. Removing from our lexicon, I suck at math, or I was never any good at math, because we know that perpetuates this myth of that I was a math person or I was not a math person. We are all math people. We can all be good readers, and giving kids and parents that opportunity to connect through mathematics.
I think it's a common question that I get from my parents, from my classroom, John, is, what can I do with my child at home to help support them? And obviously reading is vital, but then to take something like you have in your book, those activities, and say, hey, here's now something that you can do with math that's not going to burn the kids out or reduce their engagement in class. It's actually going to excite them more about a topic that I share the story every once in a while. I had a student a couple of years ago, like first day of school, came up to me and said, hey, Mr. Bedley, what does math stand for? And I was like, I don't know what. And she looked at me and she said, mental abuse to humans. And I was like, oh gosh, how can I get through to you to learn when that's already your feeling about a subject? I if I hate something that much, I'm not going to learn about it. So to have something like you've created is really powerful to kids, just to be loving math. And there's a lot to love about math, right, Sean?
Absolutely. And it's true that yes, math is all around us, but we also have to take opportunities to point out the math. When we're going to the grocery store and we debate, would I rather have this bigger box of something or a smaller box? The smaller box is less expensive, but per unit it's more. And oftentimes when we're doing this, we do it internally and we don't share that experience with our kids. We make a decision on what route we should take for the vacation or for the drive that we need to do. Whereas, we can easily hand the phone or the options on the computer over to the kids and say, which option do you think is going to be better? And why do you think that? And just really giving them some perspective into the decisions that we make as adults, and thereby making it more likely for us to identify those occasions where I am doing more math than I would give myself credit for.
That is just beautiful. Can you share some other ideas from your book that parents can be doing at home with their kids to just build those math skills that the kids so vitally need?
Well, a lot of the examples that I give are from different phases in my life. And so there are stories from my parents. The power went out one of the nights. We lived in a mobile home, and it was a frequent occurrence. Power would go out, and my mom pulled out the game of Othello, and we just sat and we played a board game. And so going to the Global School Play Day, I mean, we knew how to play because we played often, and we still do as adults with my parents and with our kids. So board games just getting pulled out, card games getting pulled out, and playing, making up your own game. But one of the ones that I really, really like is I was organizing my garage, and I have what's called Spade Bits. And so what those are is they drill out large holes in wood, and they have different sizes. Well, I'm setting this up in my garage, and I had to take out all of the spade bits from the holster in order to put it back up on the wall. And my son, who was about 3.5 at the time, was trying to help me out. The Spade Bits are really sharp. So originally, no, don't worry about it. I'll get it. Daddy will take care of it, and I'll organize them. And as soon as I'm saying I'll organize them, I realize this is a really good opportunity to give my kids something to do. And so I put the holster up on the wall, and I told him, I want you to organize these from smallest to biggest. And he did. He took 1/16 all the way up to 3/4, and he organized them. And sure, he doesn't understand fractions, but as he keeps doing more and more of these organizational type activities and he's sorting them, like, what he was really doing is he was playing with a number line, and he was playing with fractions on a number line, and he's 3.5. So I think there are opportunities that we can take advantage of as parents and teachers to be able to bring those conversations to our kids more frequently.
It's so amazing because we have pigeonholed math, I feel like, in this current times into algorithms, and that's what math has become, when really that's developmentally, that's when you do start learning math, like that example you given, John, right there. And the Othello, like, just I think of the board games because I hear a lot of teachers say, the kids don't get place value. We don't really use money anymore. That's a big way to learn place value, right? But Monopoly uses money. There's games that use money out there where kids can be using that kind of concept and helping develop those other skills in math. But we can oftentimes just see that as play and not heavy learning, and when it really is.
Yeah, and for the support for the parents, like you were asking, or you had a parent asking about, what can I help my kid with, or how can I help my kid improve in math? And even at the middle school and high school level, which are the domains that I'm used to, play with your kids. And sure, you may not be helping your kid graph quadratic inequalities, but giving them a more structured foundation in number sense is good for every kid, whether they're in AP calculus or whether they're just starting first grade or kindergarten TK. Giving them that understanding and foundation of number sense and being able to play with numbers, wrestle with numbers. I think that we're always going to win by doing things like that with our kids.
Yeah. I just try to encourage parents, like, have some conversations with your kids. Like, I don't know how many of them are really just sitting down and talking to them and kicking ideas around with them and just activating the brain, because I want the kids to just be thinking and on their toes and solving any kind of problems and just activating that brain a little bit more. And it just seems like we need to get the kids doing that, and the parents are the best place to start. I don't know if have you found that you've gotten much results from this? I mean, obviously it's not just the book for you, it's a passion. You're talking to parents. Do you see change? Do you see any effect of these conversations and of your book on parents, and that they're changing the way that they deal with their kids?
Certainly. And it's hard right now because of the role that I'm in. I'm an instructional coach, so I go around. I don't have a specific group of students, so I don't have a specific, like, a focus group of parents. But the conversations that I hear other teachers having, hey, I got copies of the Table Talk Math and handed it out to my parent group, and they're coming back saying how it's given them ideas on different things that they can talk about with their own children. Like, that for me has been the biggest satisfaction in writing this, is seeing and hearing how it has had an impact on other parents.
That's so cool, John. And is that the way you're seeing it getting in the hands, parents, as from the school? Or are you seeing, I think I read a tweet about, even a school using it as a fundraiser or something like that to get the books out.
Yeah, they do. So I do a fundraiser, and so the book is $22 on Amazon. The way that I run the fundraiser is $20 per book for your parent group, and I'll send you an additional $5 back to the school. So essentially it's a $15 book, and you're getting $5 sent back to the school. And really it's not, I mean, it sounds whatever about that, but it's not about the money for me. It's about giving that opportunity. I feel very fortunate. Both of my parents are engineers, and my mom was around a lot. She was a stay-at-home mom, and so she was always turning those wheels, always trying to spark some conversation and ideas. And when my dad would get home from work, same thing. And I think that it's it's within reach for any parent at any level, at any ability of mathematics, to be able to have those kinds of conversations with their kids.
Very cool. Go ahead, Tim. You're muted.
I'm muted. Edit
Tim,
here.
edit there.
Sorry, I had some weird things going on my computer. Okay. So, John, now I totally forgot what I was going to say. You got something, Scott?
No, I mean, I think it's the biggest question I kind of had is what if you were to say like your book is geared towards what level? Does it span levels? I mean, are there things in there that, you know, somebody could talk about with their preschooler all the way through high school?
Yeah. You know, it's going to play better with elementary parents just because it is more number sense. But like I said, I mean, our AP calculus students, if you were to talk to upper level mathematics teachers, they would tell you by and large that kids don't struggle with the calculus or the statistics. They struggle with the algebra. They struggle with the basics of the math. So, you know, most of the examples in there are from elementary and middle school, but I do have an example in there from high school. And another great thing is that I have, so in each chapter, I also provide a free resource. So in the organizational chapter, there's also a website called Which One Doesn't Belong, or WODB.ca. And instead of having me talk exclusively about it, I have the creator of the website, Mary Barassa, come in and talk about it. Or a website called fractiontalks.com. And another teacher, Nat Banting, comes in and talks about how fraction talks can happen and strengthen numeracy in kids. So it's not just my voice and my perspective. It's a myriad of other educators from different backgrounds and geographic locations talking about their passions with math as well.
That's awesome.
Now, not every teacher that's listening or educator that's listening to the show right now is going to get your book. Unfortunately, we wish they would. But if you could give like one message to teachers to take in turn to their parents, based on your experience and with your book and doing your lectures and everything, what would you tell teachers to just, you know, talk to your parents about this, get them doing this? What would you tell these teachers?
Spend more time talking with your kids. Honestly, I mean, I recognized it. You know, so in Southern California, we're well aware of the C word and commuting, and you know, I pick up the kids, and there are days where I pick them up and we have a 35-40 minute drive and we listen to the radio, and it's a lot of empty and lost opportunity to have some interaction with our kids. You know, if we really count up the number of hours you get with your children in a day, it's not much. So burning that precious time, you know, taking the opportunity to turn around and say, hey, I'm going to start at 5 and we're going to count up by 2s. Ready, go. You know, you don't need to be sitting at a table. You don't need to be with paper and pencil. It can be this mental math and a game or a puzzle that you can bring in at any point in time. So, you know, as odd as it may sound, the biggest advice that I send to teachers to send to parents is to talk more with their kids. And I think that they're only going to benefit from that.
Very cool, John. All right. Well, our listeners are going to have to get your book and learn more from you in that way. Right now, we're going to play a little game with you. And you are the author of Table Talk Math. Uh-oh, what's he doing? No, yeah, he's getting warmed up.
Okay. I gotta. Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Okay.
No Googling.
No Googling.
Oh, no.
We're calling our little game Table Talk Google today.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to be asking you 3 questions about.
Wait, is that one of their new part of their G Suite tools?
It's an add-on that you can.
It's an add-on. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we're going to be asking you 3 questions about the first couple of pages of a Google search on the term table talk, which I'm thinking that you might have done before. You might have Googled that. But Scott, why don't you tell our audience who John's going to be playing for today?
John, you're going to be competing for Amanda Garcia, a 5th grade teacher in Texas. If you're able to answer 2 out of the 3 questions correctly, Amanda will be awarded a free download of an album by the ridiculously popular edgy rock band Rockin' the Standards.
cut out.
I'm pulling for Amanda, but I don't. Amanda, I'm sorry in advance. I don't know what's going to happen here.
Well, now, hey, not to put you on the spot or anything, but you think we can get Amanda a copy of your book too?
Be happy to.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, John.
Whether or not I win, I'm going to send her a copy.
Okay, Amanda, you better be hoping he's going to win here, because then you'll get both prizes. And so here we go, John, with your first question. When you Google Table Talk, the biggest results of that search is a book that was written in, well, not 2017. Sorry about that. Is that when your book came out?
No.
16.
16.
16. Oh, it's close. Yeah, it's not a book that was written in 2016.
No, it was 17.
I think it was 17, John.
Yeah. Wow.
We know your book better
year.
than you
It goes
do.
It's been a long year.
Yeah. Well, this book was written a long ways before your book was written. Who wrote the older and, of course, much less popular version of Table Talk? Was it A?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Was it B?
Martin Luther.
Or was it C?
Mark Twain, a.k.a. Samuel Clemens.
All right. So who wrote Table Talk?
I'm going to go with B.
Martin Luther. Well, guess what? You're right.
Yes. Okay.
Woo!
I got you, Amanda. I got you.
Actually, if you Google it, on the right side, you know how sometimes they give you like the Wikipedia page or something? That's what shows up, is the cover of the book, Table Talk, and it's by Martin Luther.
Got it.
All right. Another
good.
first page. Yeah, you definitely are. Another first page Google search for Table Talk is Table Talk Magazine. Which of these is the target audience for Table Talk Magazine? Is it A?
Chefs.
I like how you say that. Okay.
I was going to say chiefs just to try to be funny, but
okay. Is it B?
Carpenters.
Or is it C?
I'm trying to pronounce the wrong syllable.
You're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable?
Thank you. You got it for me. Christians.
All right. So one of those three is the audience for Table Talk Magazine. Chefs, carpenters, or Christians?
That is a tough one. I'm going to have to go with B. The carpenters.
Carpenters. Well,
that would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense, Tim.
Because, you make tables out of wood, and carpenters would make a table.
It's
but
chefs, isn't it?
No. Think of Martin Luther.
That would be a little bit ironic too, since you've also written a book with the word chef in it, right?
I know. I thought you were trying to trick me there, so I couldn't do that one.
Yeah, no, it was Christians.
So,
yeah. Okay, well, you have one last chance here. Question number 3. On the second page of a Google search about Table Talk, you'll find...
Does anybody look at the second page of a Google search, Tim?
Pages of Google searches?
Yeah. You'll find a New York Times Magazine article about how to make fascinating table talk at your next dinner party.
And John, you should know. Anyone know this, Tim?
Okay, wait. Say that again. You cut out on my end.
John, you should know this too. You should know what's on a search on Google on the second page. How is anyone going to know this question, Tim? This is crazy.
This is rigged.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, Amanda.
I can do it.
Okay,
right.
John, we're counting on you. Okay, so which of these is an actual suggestion of the New York Times Magazine article? Is it A?
To ensure that a guest's story becomes truly interesting, just ask 2 questions over and over. What and why?
Or is it B?
Whatever you do, never talk about salaries or personal finances. This is sure to put a damper on any kind of table talk synergy that you would have developed.
Or is it C?
If you want and add an extra oomph to the table talk conversation, strike up a deep conversation about the Pythagorean theorem. Nothing gets people more excited than talking math.
So your 3 choices are to ask what and why is the tip. The second one was don't talk about salaries or personal finances. And the third one is talk about math. So which of those do you think is an actual tip?
So wait, B is don't talk about salary or talk about salary?
Don't talk about salary
Never,
and finances.
never.
Never talk about that because that can just ruin things.
Especially if you're a teacher.
Yeah.
How much do you make, Tim? Let me tell you what I make.
I make.
Oh, sorry.
I make.
Copyright.
I change lives.
Copyrighted.
Copyright.
Taylor
Okay.
is watching this right now. Well, as much as I am a sucker for the Pythagorean theorem, I don't believe that anybody wants to know about a squared plus b squared equals c squared at a regular dinner party. I also think it would be quite the taboo concept to bring up finances. So I'm gonna have to go with A because that would be really annoying.
A is correct.
Yes.
Ask what and why. No, yeah, what and why. So when somebody's telling you a story, you go, well, then what happened next? Well, why did that happen? And why?
Why did you do
What?
that?
Sounds like a 2-year-old. Why? Why?
Yeah,
Oh,
that sounds
that's
like
great
many
table
table
talk.
talk conversations actually at my table.
So, Scott, how did John do on today's little game that we played with him?
Good job, John. You got 2 out of 3 correct, and that's good enough to be a winner.
Yeah.
Woo! Congratulations, John. You won absolutely nothing. But Amanda down in Texas, she not only run Rockin' the Standards, she got one of your books, which is awesome, man. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. I'll be sending her probably 3 copies, 1 for her and 2 to hand to other people.
Wow. Holy cow. Very
Spread the
generous.
love.
Thank you.
Well, I hope I bump into her.
Yeah, that's 1 for her and 1 for each of us.
There you
already
go.
Gave me a copy. All right, so John, why don't you
Wait,
tell
what?
our? You didn't get a copy yet? Oh, I wasn't
John,
supposed
you're
to
in
tell
big
John?
trouble,
Oh, sorry.
dude.
Sorry.
He was supposed to share. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Big brothers don't share with little ones. Let me just say that.
You're not wrong.
Except for punches, maybe.
Yeah. All right, and lies to parents too. We have to share those.
Never.
So, John, why don't you tell our audience how they can follow up and learn more from you in the future?
Well, you can follow up with me through email at john@tabletalkmath.com. And the central hub for all of the different projects and websites and things that I do is at fishing4tech.com. And you can find me and follow me on Twitter at jstevens009.
jstevens009. Follow John, and you can connect with him. I know he's real good about having dialogue with teachers and everything. We know he's like immensely famous, but he'll even talk to you on Twitter. So if you have a question for him, hit him up on Twitter and ask him for some advice. So, all right. So thank you so much for being on the show, John. And any last comments there, Scotty?
Hey, don't forget, if you are a presenter or a district and you're looking for a marketplace, check out edupresenters.com. It's your place to post your training needs or to find training jobs if you're a speaker out there. That's edupresenters.com.
Sign up today. All right. So again, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you give us a review on iTunes and Stitcher and any place else that our podcast is found. And thanks for listening to the show. But most of all, thanks for watching.
Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad.